Engaging celebrity interviews. Exciting updates from Christian filmmakers. Movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely. And so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Faith on Film. So grateful to have you join us today. I'm very excited for today's show because we have some very special friends with us. Holly and I had an opportunity to spend some time with two dear friends who have produced a very funny movie called Empty Nets. Now that movie will be released soon, and they will be here today sharing all the behind-the-scenes secrets with us. Nathan Blair is a creative with over 10 years of design and film experience. He's a writer, producer, director, as well as a DP, editor, and even an actor. And yes, I've seen his acting, and he's terrific. He is also the founder of Kingdom Sight Studios. As to Leland Clausen, having toured all across North America for nearly 2 decades, Leland's credits are many and diverse, including appearances on Just for Laughs on the Comedy Network, CBC Television's Halifax Comedy Festival, Thou Shalt Laugh on Netflix, as well as hosting numerous specials and series. Let's take a look at the teaser trailer to Empty Nets, and then we'll hear from Nathan and Leland. Hey guys, welcome to Faith on Film. Nathan and Leland, we're so excited to have you back. It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
So listen, let's start off at the very beginning here. Now, at first I thought you had misspelled it and then you meant empty nest, but apparently you didn't. You did mean Empty Nets. Can you tell us a little bit about what that movie's all about?
Yeah. We get empty nest all the time, especially when people, it's like this big cue of they're reading too fast and they don't pay attention. They're like, oh, it's empty nest. It's not, it's empty nest. So the long story of this was a couple years ago, Leland was working on kind of a pilot for a sitcom, Empty Nets. It's a first century comedy. And he's done a ton of producer work on this. So I'll try and keep it quick so that he can fill in the actual details. And we did a sizzle reel, essentially, at Content Media Summit, filmed at Capernaum Studios. And it was just meant to kind of give the tonality of what Leland was working on. And I was fortunate enough to be able to be there and kind of direct it and come alongside him on that. And then we were editing it and we needed a name and kind of threw a couple different things out there. But Leland's Funny Project just didn't have the ring to it as like an actual name. So
I was pushing for that. I was really pushing for that, but
You were.
yeah.
So I threw out Empty Nets, and it stuck, and it kind of encapsulated everything that the film was about. And so that little sizzle reel became a feature film, a comedy, a period piece, and it'll probably be better if Leland kind of describes the character, because that was kind of his brainchild on that one.
The character. By the way, let me just add this to the story of the name. We were going back and forth on names because we got to have something, Leland. We got to have something. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. And we both threw out some ideas. And I had to go to the bathroom. I was trying to get it solved before I had to go to the bathroom. And I was like, I can't. And so I left. And it was a great relief. And then I came back into the room. And then what do I see on the top of the thing was Empty Nets. Nathan put this, and I was like, oh, I love that. And it was another relief. So that's why it's stuck in my head, that story.
And it's a first century comedy, right? This is taking place first century. Okay.
It's a first century Galilean comedy. That old genre. But we shoot it at you've probably heard of the Chosen, obviously.
The what?
The Chosen.
Yes, the Chosen studio. So you shot it at Capernaum Studios.
It's not the Chosen. That was I had a joke all lined up for that, and you guys both took it in two different directions. I couldn't get the timing right. It's okay. We did it as Capernaum Studios, the first. And here's the thing: I was heading to. Here's how the series idea got birthed, and then I'll tell you how we got to the feature film. I was heading to Content to do the festival there, as you know, and I was just thinking about the studio, and I was like, how else do you use this unless you have a Jesus movie? Like, there's got to be more things, maybe Afghanistan war. Like, how else are you using? And then it just dawned on me, like, what about a sitcom? What about a sitcom set in that time? And then I started coming up with these characters, the conspiracy theorist, the Roman guard who's kind of like Schultz from Hogan's Heroes, that kind of stuff. And then I had reached out to Tim Shields and I said, do you want to? What if we shot something at the festival while we're there? And which, by the way, they do every year now. I don't know if they're going to do it this year because they need Nathan to do this. So when they said yes, I immediately called Nathan. You'll find this is a common thread in all my stories about this. I immediately called Nathan. Hey, what do you think of this? And then he put that whole thing together. I didn't really produce that at all. If we're getting down to the gritty, I didn't produce that thing at all. Nathan did. But did a great job of it. But it was a series that we were pitching, and we never really got anybody jumping on the bandwagon for the series. So then I reached out to the Tim Shields and Tammy Lane at Capernaum once again, and I said, "Hey, what if I came up with some, cash for the first part? Would you invest your studio space on the other side, like the resources, the studio space, the props, the wardrobe, all that? Would you invest that in?" And I didn't hear from them for a long time, and I thought it was over. And then all of a sudden, Tammy Lane called me, and I'm so good at pitching stuff. I got it immediately. Do you know how the conversation went? She goes, so I hear you need the studio for a couple of days in January. I was like, no, it would be like the whole month. Oh, okay. But do you have a distribution deal? And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just getting choked up thinking about it. And I said, no, I don't have a distribution deal. And she said, well, do you have a script? And I was like, no, I don't have that either. Excuse me. And that's when she said, yeah, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, this movie was, it had its difficulties, to say the least. We had two choices in terms of timing to shoot the film, January or like July. And Leland and I, not being from Texas, assumed that Texas was going to be warmer in January than other places, and then it would be miserable in July. So we were like, let's choose January. It'll be like 60. That is not true at all. It's very cold in Texas in January. And it's worse because it's the humidity level there. It's like trying to walk around floating ice all the time.
Yes.
It's just not real great. And then to add to it, we got this unseasonably, I'm told, cold snap that ended up freezing all of the pipes. It was like all the outer buildings started to freeze, and so everything just slowly moved to the center hub, and we were all hoping that we weren't gonna, be frozen out forever. We started a big fire, tried to make the most of it. Biggest thing I did learn from Michael, who was our set designer and a hurricane qualified survivalist, is that if you take a pitcher of water, you can flush the toilet.
Really?
No matter what. No matter what.
I didn't know that.
I knew that.
Yeah.
But
so we had taken and broken up the ice at Capernaum. The main house there has a pool, and it had frozen over. And so we had broken up the ice so that we could get to the pool water. And we were taking buckets of water to the bathroom so that we could continue to use the restroom. And I was like, this might be the end of it. And to my cast and crew's credit, they were like, no, we can make this happen.
And I will say this.
Gio, who plays Laz, was awesome with that.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm Canadian, so I know cold, but you know what we don't do in Canada is walk around in the cold in a tunic. That was the big difference there.
No.
Big difference. Big difference. I was shocked that you guys were even filming out there and still filming because it was cold, and a lot of the crew people who worked there weren't even going out there. So you guys were braving a lot. How long did the shoot take? How long total did it take?
4 years.
Which portion?
4.5 years. I'm kidding.
No, I've known you for really quite a few years, way back from your first movie, A Perfect Chord, and then Second Greatest. Those were all just nice family movies, high school story. Then you kind of went horror or sci-fi, whatever you want to call it, with a movie called Scion.
Thriller.
And then you met Leland at an ICVM conference, and you went to comedy. Is he kind of taking you in a road that you had never really expected to take? And how do you like it?
Actually, comedy is probably the easiest thing. Even in my other films, there were a lot of comedic moments that I enjoyed. I think A High School Story is a comedy. Being able to work with Leland has been, it's been nice to have somebody else to bounce the comedic thoughts off of, somebody who's really good at it, who's spent a career learning comedy and putting that to use. And so I think between Leland and I, we end up, the story usually goes, Leland has this really great idea. He says, okay, I'm really desperate. Who can I talk to? Nathan's also really desperate. So I'm going to go to Nathan, who's the only other desperate person I know. And in that process, he goes, here's the story idea. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Let's do that. And then by the time we're done massaging the story and working on the script and all the parts and pieces, there are times I'm like, I don't remember who kind of wrote that line. I just know it's really funny. It came out really, really well.
I always find it interesting when people ask Nathan about comedy, because Nathan is, see, I'm a comedian and that's all I do. Nathan is also a comedian. But he also knows how to produce and is very talented at filmmaking. So he's got all the tools. So that's why I go to him every time I I have a project that I want to do. I'll go to Nathan and say, "What do you want to do? Let's do it."
Which one of you wants to give a synopsis? Because we still haven't heard what the movie's about. So tell us what the movie's about and be the main character and what. Let us know your elevator pitch.
Oh goodness!
I'm going to give that to Nathan. See, this is why I call Nathan.
Yeah. So Empty Nest is a first century comedy about Matthias, who is a brilliant but mistimed inventor. And he lives in Jerusalem, a suburb of Jerusalem, actually, about the time of Christ. And trying to keep his struggling business alive, he takes a loan from the wrong person. And then when that loan needs to be collected, he needs to get out of town with his wife. And fortunately, an uncle that he didn't really even know he had dies and leaves him his fishing business in the town of Copernic. Let's just get that right. It's Copernic. Yes, that's the proper name. Watch the movie, you'll understand why. It's really funny. Inside the movie, it's great.
We're at the same time period, but we're not using a lot of the same, because I'm trying not to. We're trying not to blaspheme anything or anyone. It's Copernic is where they go. Named after the false prophet Nick. Let's just leave it at that.
And then what happens? What's the drama? Does anyone chase after him, or like what's it's funny, but what? Okay. All right.
Naturally, yes. The troubles follow him to Copernic, even though he's trying to run from it. The good news is in Copernic, he meets a whole bunch of new friends, some very quirky, a Roman guard who is quite hilarious, a best friend who happens to be a conspiracy theorist and questions the existence of birds. And as the troubles find him, his new friends help him to kind of stand up to this bad guy. We have to mention Mara, his wife, who is Olivia Mayne was probably one of the most awesome blessings of this whole thing. She was amazing, truly talented, up for just about anything. Like Leland said, they're in less than ideal wears for Texas winter. She was one of those people who was like, yeah, we can do it again. I felt bad asking for another take because they're freezing to death and there's nothing I could do. We had one moment where the cast is in their togas, essentially, right? And you could just turn around and you see the crew and everybody's in 18 layers. Everything is covered. We're barely I've got the gloves that are touch sensitive so I could use the camera. And our crew and our cast is just standing there freezing, trying to pretend like it's, the Middle East and sunny and warm. And Olivia was one of those blessed creatures that just always had a smile, was always up for everything. And her character as Matthias's wife, she played it so very well. There was this balance between being annoyed, but still absolutely loving her husband and getting along with him. And that's a very tough line. And she did it flawlessly.
She took notes from my wife. That's how she. By the way, it's incredibly hard to look like you're in a hot climate when you can see your breath. So we had to be careful on how we talked sometimes on a few scenes because it's like.
At least the first section, right? Yeah. The second section of filming, the breath wasn't the issue. That was our May shoot was much nicer than our January shoot.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Now, you mentioned Trouble following him. Trouble really seems to follow Leland, because Leland, now, I remember I had you hosting the ICVM Crown Awards like a year and a half ago,
thanks.
2 years ago, and you came in with your arm in a cast.
Right.
Now, did that happen during the filming of this movie?
Listen, I do all my own stunts, and sometimes it's dangerous and people get hurt. This particular day on set of Empty Nets, I wasn't in the stunt, but I was stunt adjacent, we'll say. And it's funny because I see where it broke immediately, like when we are going over the footage. I'm like, right there's the moment. Yeah, no, we were. I was an idiot. That's the only thing I could say about this one. We were pulling a guy. It's a long story. You have to see the movie, but I was pulling a guy. And
Leland, I want to know your favorite scene after the culmination of 2 months and a lot of troubleshooting. What's kind of your favorite one? And then Nathan, what's your favorite? Because both of you can appreciate comedy, or maybe it's not comedy, Nathan, and maybe it's something else. But what are your favorite scene out of the movie? When people watch it, they can look for it.
There are so many great moments. A couple of them that I like. I know you just said one, but a couple of them I like are talking to the ambiguously leprous guy. Another scene is when I was convincing my wife that we needed to just go and not look back, and I was giving her the Lot's wife story. I turned into a pillar of salt, and I was acting it out. Stuff like that. Those are two that just jump out at me. Getting punched at the well. Those are a couple of my favorites, I think.
Leland getting punched at the well was one of my favorites.
Okay.
I wish we would have been filming. I wish we would have been filming that. That would have been great. Just an angry local just walked up and punched me. Oh, it was so fun. I'm kidding.
For me, I think the thing I enjoyed so much about this was the chance to kind of stretch my wings as a director of photography as well. So a lot of the scenes I liked had this visual element and style that I wanted to go with. The first time that Mara and Matthias see their Copernic home, it was just this really beautiful shot, this really pretty moment, both from what we were shooting and what was happening in the scene. And it's followed up by quite possibly the worst person in the entire film, our Pharisee of Copernic, and he just destroys them. And it turned out so good, and it's just, you feel bad for them, and you're laughing at the guy, and that was a fun one.
And by the way, can I say this? Sorry to interrupt you, Nathan, but I got to give you some props here. When we were talking about doing this, he was telling me some stuff that I had no idea what he was talking about. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do the anamorphic lens. I'm going to do this and that. Okay, cool. But then seeing these shots, it was like, listen, I think it's a pretty well written, well acted. It's a great story. It's a funny movie, but it looks really pretty.
Oh, good. Good, because that does make a difference. How it looks and sounds. Lighting, the DP, I mean, it's important.
Yeah, and Nathan just knocked it out of the park. I mean, this thing just looks amazing.
So when is it supposed to come out, and how can people watch it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're going to stick it in a time capsule, and then in 100 years or so, they'll discover it. And no, I don't know. Nathan?
Well, actually, you do have a premiere coming out in over at the Content conference, right?
We do, yeah. We thought it would be really cool to do the red carpet premiere on site for multiple reasons, because the story started there. We filmed it there. Content has been a big part of, even our crewing up. A lot of the people who were on our crew, right. We met at Content, and so being able to do the premiere at Capernaum, at Stage B on their big LED wall is going to be really cool. And so we're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it also because that means the film will be done, and so that part is really exciting to me.
And let me also just say this real quick. Capernaum were amazing. Like I said, I came to them with this idea, and they bent over backwards, helping us get there. And we 100% couldn't have done this movie without them. So
I know that Tim and Tammy are so grateful. And Nathan, you helped Tim out at a Content and did something when you had people reenact a scene, and they were able to do that. So that helped him with his students do something unique and different one year. So, I know you guys have poured a lot of yourselves into it, and Leland, you too have done so many things. So I know they appreciate you. So we are going to look for Empty nets, not nests, but nets.
Nets.
And we're going to look for that hopefully soon. But we will also get some footage from your red carpet and show that, and we'll do a little follow up on it, and then let us know when people can see it. Hopefully, stream it or see it soon. We
Is there
appreciate
a
you
website
too.
where
And
people can go and find out what, more information on it?
EmptyNetsMovie.com.
All right.
And then there's socials connected to that as well that you can check out.
good.
All right. Now,
Good.
Leland, I know that you do comedy tours. Are you still doing that, by the way?
Yeah, for now.
Is it safer so you don't get your arm? Never mind.
Yeah.
How can people
It's healed up really
find
well.
out- how can people follow you and find out where you're going to be at, or maybe even invite you to come to their church or their club or wherever you do these stand-ups?
Yeah, LelandClawson.com. 1 E in Leland. And that's hopefully you have, it's right there. I'm going to say it. It's right down,
it'll
right.
be right down there.
Yeah, LelandClawson.com.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, too.
Taking the time. We certainly look forward to seeing Empty Nets again. Nets, N-E-T-S.
And we will promo it when we see it.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we'll be right back.
What makes Capernaum Studios different from other movie studios? We believe in empowering filmmakers to make stories that matter, inspire, uplift, and transform lives. From historically authentic sets to state-of-the-art, fully equipped sound stages, we offer immersive LED and green screen stages, ICVFX virtual production, period to modern sets, a first-century village featured in The Chosen, and much more. We provide everything filmmakers need to focus on what matters in making their vision a reality, producing meaningful content affordably without compromising creativity. Discovering what's possible when creativity meets purpose. Capernaum Studios, empowering filmmakers to make dreams a reality.
What do you have to gain?
Pretty much everything.
I have loved you every day, every hour, every minute, every second ever since.
We don't always get what we want, but we always get what we need. We're connected, all of us.
Welcome back. Well, that does it for today's show. I invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Faith on Film TV. Also, do visit our website, faithonfilmtv.com. That's faithonfilmtv.com, where you can learn more about Holly and I, about our vision for this show, and links to all of our previous shows, as well as many reviews and interviews on Hollywood movies through Holly on Hollywood. You can also learn how you can partner with us and help us continue to create more Faith on Film shows. Well, have a blessed rest of your day and take care. Goodbye for now.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Faith on Film TV, and hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications on our latest Faith on Film shows.